Okay, this is Michelle Robinson, and here at God's Creation Gardens, and my granddaughter Katrina is harvesting some stevia for me. We're going to make a stevia tincture. This stevia here I'm growing in pots because stevia doesn't make it through the winter here in Virginia. So we're just harvesting the leaves to a low point and they'll come back again. We've cut this one down quite a bit, down to some little stumps. And we're taking the fatter leaves and we're going to be using them, and then the new growth will come out later. I've got several pots here that we're going to be harvesting from, and then we'll make a tincture when we get inside, and I'll show you how that works.
There's this little plant right here which is not stevia. Do you want me to pull it out, or should I just leave it?
Okay, we have a volunteer purslane coming up in the stevia patch. Yes, you can pull that out, Katrina. Even though that is very edible. You want to show them how we can eat it? Oh yeah, that's good. Very good for you. Lots of omega-3s.
Yeah, it tastes pretty good.
But she's just cutting down to maybe 3/4 of the plant and leaving some new growth to come back. Thanks, Katrina.
You're welcome. I enjoy it.
Okay, we finished picking our stevia, and now we're taking the leaves off. Erin and Katrina, my two granddaughters, are helping me get the leaves off. We're just taking the leaves off, putting them in the jar. We don't use a stem because it'll get too bulky. So we're just going to take the leaves, put them in there. We'll pour vodka over it when we're done. Okay, we finished getting the leaves off. And I'm going to dry some of these because I have so many. And I'm just going to put some in a jar, and we're going to pour vodka over that. So I'm just going to place the rest of the stevia leaves on the dehydrator. I have two different dehydrators. I have my American Harvest, my Excalibur. I don't have that many leaves, so I'm just going to use the American Harvest one. And I'll just put a few trays on here. I have probably about 3 trayfuls here that I can get. And that way I'll just be running 3 trays. But with the Excalibur, you have to run the whole thing, whether you just got 1 tray or 9 trays. That's one reason why I like to have both of these, because if I'm going to do smaller amounts, then this American Harvest one works a lot better. Okay, just plug it in and we're all set to go. I'm going to leave the temperature at 95. This one doesn't have a switch to it. I just have to plug it in. Let it sit there till tomorrow. I have here some Burnett's vodka. It's 100 proof. So I'll just pour some of that over this. One thing about stevia that's different than a lot of other herbs is that you don't have to soak them for 6 weeks like a lot of others, because it's such a sweet leaf and the extract doesn't take that long. So 36 to 48 hours is all you need to soak it. If you soak it longer than that, it's not going to turn out as good. So you just want to get the sugars out. I have just enough of this left to cover what I have here. Okay, so it looks like I've just covered that. And so I'm going to put a cover on that and just let it sit. I'll give it just a shake here a little bit. Shake it around. And I might have to cover it with a little bit more, but I think I'm out, so I'll have to get some to cover later. I'm going to let this soak here for 36 to 48 hours, and then we'll strain it. Remember, for the herb stevia, you only soak for 36 to 48 hours, no longer. Other herbs, as mentioned, can soak for 6 to 8 weeks or longer. This video does not show me straining the stevia, but it is done in the same manner as the herbs in this video, as I will show you. The only difference is that you will not just bottle it and store it, but you will cook it down on the stove until the alcohol is evaporated and the amount is reduced to about 1/4 of what you started with. It gets more concentrated and sweeter as it cooks down, but watch it carefully that it doesn't cook down and disappear. I did that once. Then you will have nothing left. If it is to your satisfaction, then you can bottle it. I keep some in the refrigerator to use and then store the rest vacuum sealed on the shelf. I have 2 other tinctures that I actually have to strain. One of them is Goldenrod. I started it on 8/2, so it says it'll be finished 9/13. So It's a little bit past 9/13, a few days, but that's good. I'll strain that one. That's been about 6 weeks. And then this one here is Yarrow, and I started this on 6/24, and it says finished 8/5. So I've let this sit for a lot longer because now we're into September now. So I've let it sit for a lot longer, but it's okay. The longer it sits, the stronger it gets. So we'll strain those now. I make my straining bags out of curtain shears. I really like the way they work. I'm going to put this bag in here, and I'm going to strain this yarrow that I've been soaking. And one thing about when you do extracts versus making tea, with tea you're not supposed to squeeze your herbs, but with extracts you can. So I'll just squeeze this bag out and get as many juices as I can from it. So squeezing, just squeeze it out. Bring it real good. Get as many juices as you can from it. And that's about it. There. So that's yarrow right there. It's about 2 cups. So I'm going to pour it in this jar and label it. One of my favorite tools is my vacuum sealer, and so I'm going to vacuum seal this so it stays fresh for longer, even though whenever you have tinctures with vodka they last for years, but I still like to vacuum seal it. I'll put some in a little dropper bottle to use up, and then I'll just keep this vacuum sealed. Okay, now that it's sealed, I'll label it. It's important that you always label all your extracts and always make sure you put the month and the year so you know what it is and when you made it. Okay, this is Goldenrod, and I'm going to strain this one now. Again, we want to squeeze all the extract out. There we go. And this one didn't make as much because I didn't have as much of this. So I made about a cup of this. But it's September now, and as I went for a walk through the woods, I saw that there was a lot of goldenrod out there. I think I'll go get some more and maybe dry some too. I'll just pour this in here and label it, vacuum seal it, and label it. Okay, thank you for watching. I hope you can enjoy making your own tinctures. They're fun to make. Very useful and saves you lots of money.